And I should go start streaming on Go Live. Here we go. Okay, so the streaming health is online. We're just going to quickly test it. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Streaming health is online. We're just going to
1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Okay, that's fine. It works.
1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2. Beautiful, beautiful.
Right, I'm going to try and mute my. Okay, that's fine. It works.
1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2. Beautiful, beautiful.
Right, I'm going to try and mute my. Okay, that's fine. It works.
1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2. Beautiful, beautiful.
Right, I'm going to try and mute my. That's fine. It works.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Let me just quickly go to filters. It might be something advanced audio properties. That's what we want. It might be something advanced audio properties. That's what we want. It might be something advanced audio properties. Okay.
Check, check, 1 2 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check, check, 1 2 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check, check, 1 2 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check, 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 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2. Sibilis, Sibilis, Sibilis. Check 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2. Sibilis, Sibilis, Sibilis. Check 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2. Sibilis, Sibilis, Sibilis.
Right, just try me. Hello.
Sibilis, Sibilis, Sibilis.
Hello. Right, just try me. Hello.
Sibilis, Sibilis, Sibilis.
Hello. Right, just try me. Try you again.
Check 1 1 2 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Try you again.
Check 1 1 2 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Okay. So we've got it.
Check 1 1 2 1 1. Awesome. So it's working now.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Got it.
Check 1 1 2 1 1. Awesome. So it's working now.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Got it. I'm just making sure.
Awesome. So it's working now.
Open volume meter, so we've got OBS is fine, YouTube dashboard is fine. Why do you keep repeating yourself? YouTube dashboard is fine.
What, me?
Yeah, on there, it just keeps reporting. Alright, let's try again. Miguel, talk.
Yes. Check, check, 1 2 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Check, 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Check on the mic.
Say that again, Miguel.
Check on the mic. Check, check, 1 1 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, you're lower on my side. Okay, let's try that again. Check. Yeah, you're lower on my
Check
side.
1 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Check. Yeah, you're lower on my
Check 1 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Brilliant. Check.
Check 1 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Brilliant. Okay, so the mix audio and the desktop audio. So let's try and okay. So the mix audio and the desktop audio. So let's try and okay. Right, let's try that again one more time. Check.
Check 1 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 1 1 2.
Check.
Check 1 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 1 1 2.
It's picking up everything,
one, two,
and I'm
one,
just
two,
wondering
one, two.
what it could be.
One,
Let's
one,
check.
one, two.
Let me try and mute OBS, and let's see if that works. All right, check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Check 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, it's in the mix audio, that's why. Because you're lower on the mix audio, but you're high. Let's try and bring the mix audio up. Maybe that could work. Check, check. 1 2 1 2 1 2.
1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Check, check. 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Check, 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 check.
No, it's still low. Right, because it picks up the desktop audio, but it doesn't pick up the... I'm trying to figure out how we can do it, so... Desktop audio. Right, say it again, check, check, but it doesn't pick up the...
Check, check, 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Right, say it again, check, check.
Check, check, 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Right, say it again, check, check.
Check, check, 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Is it still sounding odd?
Yeah, it's still got that kind of background.
Is it still
1
sounding
second.
odd?
Scene transition fade. It's still got that kind of background.
Is it still
1
sounding
second.
odd?
Scene transition fade. It's still got that kind of background.
Is it still
1
sounding
second.
odd?
Scene transition fade. Let's see if we can remove the scene. Okay, display, let's try display capture, or video, let's get rid of video capture. Let's try this one more time. Let's try display capture. Check, check, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Video capture.
1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2.
One more time. Check, check, 1 2 1 2 1 2.
1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, that seems fine. Check, check, 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Awesome, awesome. 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Okay, so we've got that. Yeah, that seems fine. Check, check, 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Awesome, awesome.
I'm a big fan, Mikhail. Shout out to Mikhail.
Awesome,
Right,
awesome.
I'm a big fan, Mikhail. Okay, by the way, what is that going on in the background? That video filter.
On my end?
Okay.
If you're hearing like a subtle noise, that could be the AC.
Yeah,
on my end?
Yeah, can you do something with the AC?
If you're hearing like a subtle noise, that could be the AC. Let me see if it's. Let me see if I can. Let's see. Let me know if it goes away. If you're hearing like a subtle noise, that could be the.
No.
Did it just go away?
No. Well, it's a bit better.
Oh, that could be the fact that I've got it close to the computer. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me.
I'm going to quickly share it. I'll do it on my phone. Okay. Testing.
Once I see it pop.
Testing 1 2 3, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a kind of impromptu live stream for nerdgenius.com. I am Michael Burhan, and today with me I have fellow collaborator, scriptwriter, and basically critiquer of my channel, Miguel Leon, with me. I didn't really want to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning doing this, but I sat there and went, we kind of need to talk about this. And we have to talk about this sort of stuff because, well, it's a big issue in terms of common sense, in terms of something which I did tell you, Miguel, this was going to happen. I did say that.
Well, no, I knew that it was going to happen. I figured it was going to be the case. I was hoping that it wouldn't happen. It wasn't that I didn't think it was going to happen. I knew that it would. I was just really... I was optimistic that maybe it wouldn't happen, but, you know, it is what it is. It's here.
By the way, shout out to Michael Ivy, who's basically in the chat with us. And thank you for joining us today. So we've got him watching. We've got 2 people watching, actually, today. And I'll give you guys, everyone, a shout out. I'm using the laptop as a way to kind of stream this through. And yeah, you did say it was going to happen, but at the same time, it was kind of one of those things where I was worried about. This was the whole thing with the Logan Paul situation, which was like they were going to take it out on the smaller channels, people like yourself.
And right, but here's what I was saying is that I knew that they were going to do it, yeah. But I was always saying that the fact that it was Logan Paul wasn't the reason. It just was their excuse.
Thanks to you too, Michael. Thanks to you too. Yeah, it was the excuse. It was the blatant excuse that they were going to do in terms of content creators was they were going to take out the little guys. Now, for those who don't know, I'm going to basically talk about this because Tag O'Callahan, Brandon Ligon from False Finish Productions both came to me about this recently, and it's a big deal. I don't monetize, and the reason I don't monetize is because of bull crap like this, most of it. Because I had an issue a while back when Nintendo attempted to copyright claim my channel, and then because they tried to copyright claim my channel, I counterclaimed, and then they tried to get the channel shut down. As a compromise, they made it so that my channel was unmonetizable, which was the worst thing you could basically do in terms of YouTubers. So I basically came out of it and was like, okay, this is what it is, you know. So I came out of it and I didn't have no bearing on it, but there were other issues in terms of not monetizing your content, such as being able to be found on YouTube's algorithm, being able to be promoted. You need to be monetized in order to have all these extra little bits and pieces. That's dumb. How do you make money? I'm an actor. I work freelance as an actor, so I make money as an actor. I have opened up a Patreon for this channel, but my subscriber base isn't big enough in terms of producing content that I'm not asking people to donate if they want to. It's kind of like a tip jar. If you like what I do, make sure you give me a small little donation. I'll be happy. Like a dollar amount's fine. If you can't, just share the content. That's literally it. So they've come out and they've done this thing where now, because of the Logan Paul situation, they say it's to tackle the situation, which in my opinion it has no bearing on the situation, because what they're doing is they're incentivizing people to be more like Logan Paul. You know what I mean?
No, not necessarily. What they're doing is they're cutting out the lower end, and they're basically creating an environment where the only ones that are going to be able to survive are the ones that they deem worthy.
I disagree, and this is why I disagree. I disagree over the fact that in terms of what MatPat stated, whereas there are certain elements you have to meet, certain criteria you have to meet in order for a video to go viral, and because of showing dead bodies or doing stupid prank channels is the thing that people want to see, they get you to basically keep doing that and do more of that. And that's a way that people can make quick content and build up your kind of subscriber base. And it's stupid. It's extremely stupid, because you're incentivizing people to go that route, to say, well, if I make content like this, then I'm going to get seen. Like, remember the time when I was making videos and I was discussing certain YouTubers and drama and all that other bull crap? What happened? People wanted to see it. So more people were asking me to do those kinds of videos. And it didn't help the matter at all. All it did was it incentivized me to keep making drama videos and taking shots at people, which I didn't want to do.
Right. But you also have an identity to yourself where that's not the only thing you do. And that's the thing, is they want to be that whole the big fear you have is that this is going to lead to a bunch of what I'll call jackass style YouTube channels. And I don't think that's going to be the case, because that stuff is very fleeting. That stuff that has a very short lifespan. And we've seen that the ones that have the longest lifespan are the creative types. You know, even before they get gobbled up by a lot of these big networks, it's the guys that do have a niche to them, do have a personality. So I don't think this is going to spur a lot of these, like, you know, shock value channels, because they themselves have very little longevity.
To answer your question, Michael, PewDiePie got demonetized because he had a hit piece after him, where he did a $5. This was a common thread on most YouTube channels. The common thing was doing the thing that's relevant at that point. So this is what kind of your support, your network, basically, who says to you, this is the hot thing, do videos on this hot thing right now. So he was doing videos on Fiverr, like brag. So you get people on Fiverr to do little stunts for him. They would do those said stunts, and then because of those stunts, it would then increase his traffic and viewership, and that's what it did. One person held up a sign saying, I hate Jews, which was anti-Semitism at its best, and it basically put him in a lot of hot water, which it would do. you know, common sense with anybody, it would basically put you in hot water. So that happened. You know, PewDiePie ended up in a sticky situation where more situations would happen. He had a hit piece written about him. Then YouTube, you know, preemptively reacted in a sense where they started attacking everybody else and said, well, we're going to have tougher monetization restrictions. We're going to make it tougher for people to do these kinds of videos. It's PewDiePie. The guy gets over
no. You're doing what we call drunk history, where you're confusing two bits of information that are linked together.
Yes.
What caused the proverbial adpocalypse, as it calls, was a hit piece done where people, you know, one of these news organizations, I forget which one, maybe like the New York Times, they started to track this. They had this theory going that there were ads being shown on videos that were discussing race issues or were saying racist things.
Yes.
And so rather than go after YouTube, they started going after the advertisers, saying, how can you let your ads be put on videos such as this one? And it'd be like, you know, Michelle Obama N-word or something like that.
Yeah.
And so YouTube freaked out, and that's what led to the adpocalypse. I think that happened, I want to say it happened after PewDiePie, actually. The whole PewDiePie thing was his own doing. He was having trouble with YouTube. He was the one that was kind of rebelling against them. I think he was pointing out a lot of these issues with YouTube before that. And then what happened was he did that, you know, he did the whole Fiverr thing for Keemstar, you know, with the Indian people. And somebody from the New York Times picked up on it. They did their hit piece.
Yeah.
And so,
he lost his YouTube
you know,
Red series. He lost his preferred partner status. He lost like nearly a lot of things. Again, he's still making money off of YouTube. He's just not making the grandiose amount that he used to make.
Right. It's the same kind of situation that Logan Paul is in right now, where YouTube didn't demonetize him. They just got rid of his preferred partner status,
but again,
and they canceled whatever show he was going to have.
They were going to do nothing at one point. You know, they were going to do nothing. The thing is, like the audience, everybody else got banded together and said, this needs to stop. But now they're doing this to kind of as a way to tackle, and this doesn't tackle anything. It basically...
No, it doesn't.
At the smallest level, it kills off every single, like, content creator that's at the bottom and stops them from getting bigger. Because what they're saying is, if you love what you do, keep making content, but we're not going to monetize said content. And it shows that they have more akin to... providing for their advertisers than it is for providing for their creators in general, you know.
Yes and no. And I believe you and I kind of talked about this. We brought up the whole idea of YouTube trying to... folks, if you're on YouTube right now and after this stream, I want you to look up a YouTuber by the name of PSA Sitch. He did this great video a couple months back during the second adpocalypse, the one after the shooting in Las Vegas. He talked about the adpocalypse that happened after that, and he brought up the fact that YouTube is trying to legitimize itself. It's basically trying to be, in a sense, it's trying to be the next up after Netflix and Hulu. You know, they really pushed hard for the fact that they had scooped up a bunch of comedy specials. I think they'd scooped up like a Katy Perry concert. They had scooped up the rights to some like Karate Kid spin-off series that they were doing.
Where YouTube
it focuses on on YouTube Red. They want to push themselves as a legitimate content creator, and I think they're ashamed of the fact that the stuff that the stuff that they're trying to push as legitimate content isn't getting the same views as some kid smacking himself in the dick with a tennis racket. That'll get like 10,000. That'll get like 1 million views. That'll go viral.
Trying to kill themselves with the Tide Pod challenge.
Yeah, and I think that really pisses them off. I don't think I doubt that they really want to clean it up, because they kind of showed their true colors with the whole pedophile situation. Yeah. The fact that they had to start cleaning up these channels because, by the way, folks, if you can't hear in the background, that's Brandon. We just brought him in. Say hi, Brandon.
Oh, we're recording? I didn't know this was an actual conversation. I just thought we were having an informal chat.
No, this is an actual conversation of lunch. Because I thought we'd discuss it with the audience and stuff, because it's gotten to the point where everybody is having issues.
I'm like hitting hitting the bong and everything. Like, you know,
It's your gimmick. It's your gimmick. We're okay with it.
We're just
But-
no. I thought this was an informal chat amongst friends. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, this is Brandon
going back to-
again from False Fears Productions, ladies and gents, and also the main host of
Slamcast.
Slamcast. Our technically award-winning show. Technically, it's probably won an award somewhere down the line. Anyway,
Did we win a Slammy at some point?
We're the I call us the 463rd best wrestling podcast on the internet.
Hey, at least we're rated in some way. So, basically, we've got this situation happen, as Miguel was pointing out. And Michael, the whole thing with Keemstar is Logan Paul hasn't returned yet. So once he returns, then we'll see what he does in order to kind of continue. And I don't think he's learned any lessons anyway. So he's gonna just come back, do the same shit he did before, and irate a load more people. And he's going to continue to make YouTube a boatload of cash. So I don't think he's learned any lesson from this situation as in general. The thing is, now, speaking of Brandon here, him like myself, we're both content creators who are on a small number of subscribers. Now, I've been doing really well. I got up to like 14 plus subscribers recently, and then a YouTube cull happened, which brought me down a little bit more. So I've been gaining subs with my content and stuff like that. Like the one with one child YouTuber, Stampy Longheads. Yeah, I did the video on that where one of his Stampy Longheads co-creators basically was being a pervert who stalked a woman and basically went into her house and did nasty stuff to her underwear. If you want to check out that video, it's in my channel lists. I did talk about it and discuss it, and it did get a lot of views. And I warned a lot of parents. That was the good thing I did that day. So Brandon, as a content creator, can you explain how this affects you? Because I can talk about how it affects me. I don't really monetize, but you're someone who monetizes. So tell me how it affects your business.
Well, it's pretty much the killer to make any content for. I mean, I shouldn't say it's the death knell, but it's definitely adjusts of how we approach things. Like the largest video on our channel is this video that's got around like 80,000 views, and that's it. Like nothing else is anywhere near it. That's the only way we qualify for any sort of significant ad revenue whatsoever. But it really is like it's like, why even try to use this platform if the same tools and the same advantages are no longer there that were there several years ago? Like, I feel we got into this game a little late, so we didn't get as much time as other people did to use it. But I do agree with Miguel. Like, they are trying to become a more legitimate platform for content creation or content distribution. But I think they're doing that at the cost of what made them a billion-dollar company to begin with, was the fact that they were this haven for independent content creators to have a platform.
Right, and to kind of put this into perspective, I just saw an update from one of our former associates. We'll call him Jimmy Coconut. But he just announced that due to the changes, he's going to have to start canceling his YouTube shows just because under the new rules, he ain't going to be able to monetize anymore.
Is it Johnny Wrestling?
No. His last name is Coconut. It's something that grows from a tree. I think you can extrapolate who exactly we're talking about.
Shmony Schmango.
Yeah,
I was trying to be a little bit more subtle with the Jimmy Coconut line.
So basically,
I'm a big fan of the movie Knocked Up. That's why.
He's canceling his whole shows and bits and pieces. But I don't think that's going to do anything in terms of, because I'm looking at other platforms as we speak. Like I've actually filled in an application to go onto Facebook Watch to see if I can bring Nerd Genius over to that, because I've been sharing a hell of a lot of my content on I Got Gameplay, and to say that the viewership on I Got Gameplay in comparison to my own YouTube channel is a hell of a lot more. If you think about, in a day I get 7,000 views on a live stream on I Got Gameplay on their Facebook page than I do on my entire YouTube channel. Hey Ronmar, how's it going? Michael says, do you think that YouTube is becoming the next Vine? It gives no shit. I think it's basically on a situation where they're on a bubble. Like MySpace, Vine, and anything else. If they do not focus the attention on the creators themselves, eventually when the big guys move on to the next thing, the creators are the only people that you're going to have that are going to keep you afloat. And the problem is, with some lower end channels, you're going to basically have people leaving the platform and moving on to the next thing. It happened with Vine. I remember with Vine, they had a situation, I think you were speaking with me about this, Miguel, where the creators went to the main platform and said, look, if you give us like $1 million, we'll continue making content for your platform, but this is kind of a cushion for us. And as we do this, you'll be able to continue to exist. You'd have our audience. People would still be using your platform. They said no, and they all moved to like YouTube, because Logan Paul was one of the Vine guys who moved to YouTube. They moved to Instagram and other little platforms like that, kept their brands going, and Vine just basically died a painful death.
I don't remember bringing that up. That's actually news to me. I didn't know that they had made like that type of an ultimatum, but it doesn't surprise me, because once Facebook bought up Instagram and started making that their Vine killer, I mean, it was just a matter of time before people would start moving over, especially, Facebook knows how to make money to get content. I mean, they're now starting to have their own original programming on Facebook, which I've never seen. But, they're starting to do that. So it doesn't surprise me. As far as YouTube, I think the problem with this is the new management. Yeah. I mean, they've always skirted with this whole idea of trying to claim the platform for itself, with the whole content ID, with, they tried to do YouTube, the YouTube Heroes program, which is basically their version of like the KGB.
Oh, that was annoying, because you had guys like basically 8-Bit Eric targeting people's channels. He actually was targeting my channels with the YouTube Heroes thing, and because he has a huge problem with me.
Yeah. And now you have a CEO who is just like, fuck it. We own the platform. We want to legitimize it. We're just going to do whatever we want. Fuck these little local channels that nobody cares about. We've got enough people under our banner that we have control over, that we can pretty much, run the whole channel on ourselves. And all these other creators that can't get on board or aren't good enough for our brand can go piss up a rope. Yeah, that's basically what we've got in this situation.
And it also kills off a lot of content creator friends of mine who's like, I haven't spoken with a few of the guys that I've collabed with recently about whether or not they're going to continue, because like there's some really good YouTubers on there. I think a friend of mine, she's like probably 200-300 away from 1,000 subscribers. If I continue, and I'm one of the things I'm going to do is I am going to continue on this platform, because for most who don't know, my channel runs out of pocket. It runs out of loss, because I don't make any money off of my YouTube videos at all. I make content for my channel specifically because I make content. It helps me with my editing skills, and it also does something to kind of create awareness of my brand. But in terms of, and one of the reasons why I scaled back so much was because of monetization. There was no incentive to make videos. I got like I'd get like about 100 views on a video every now and then, and they keep getting pushed down and pushed down and pushed down for the next big thing. I'm going to answer some. I'm going to read out some comments quickly. Yeah, I just got an email about monetization. I don't monetize anyway, but this will also take away the privileges of scheduled uploads, etc. That was from Ron Mower. Michael says, try Viv. It's amazing, and watch you on that. Was it Viv or Viv? Let me have a look at that.
It sounds like another vid.me, which that died a painful death.
Yeah. That was, and actually I was doing really well on that. I was getting a lot more subscribers on there. My views were really high, especially with my comic book content. YouTube changes over the years have dwindled, and my passion on videos, I'm kind of indifferent. Yeah, but think about the smaller YouTubers.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, because it's the best analogy I can make as far as vid.me is, you ever hear whenever a new like wrestling company or a new MMA company comes out, what's the one thing you always hear? They always say, like, if we could just get a fraction of the big guys' audience. And I sit there thinking, you're never going to get that, because what can you offer that the other people don't? You know, it's like, you know, it's always easy to say, you know, oh, YouTube makes this much, but if we can get just a fraction of them,
but they're
we
also
can make
going to
money.
get the guys who basically are the big guys on that channel thinking, oh, look, we're going to use this platform. So they make deals with them. They basically make a lot more money. And then the small guy still doesn't make their money because...
Well, the problem, well, to go back to the wrestling thing, it's kind of like the minor leagues versus the WWE situation where, you know, if a guy gets big enough to where he's a big star on this little platform, eventually the big guys are going to come over and want to bring him there. So what ends up happening is even if you're...
the Viv app thing. Yeah, go on, Miguel. Yeah, but it's the same thing as getting a big wrestler over from the WWE taking a huge payday from a smaller promotion.
But that rarely ever happens now. Now what you have is a situation where a guy will get big in a smaller promotion, and then the WWE will come running and offer him a deal. Yeah. Even if vid.me can you know, have stars of their own that they can build, eventually YouTube's going to come running. You know, they're going to see like, well, you're popular on this platform. Why don't you come over and work exclusively? Yeah. We'll give you these privileges and move forward. So you're never going to have a situation where a platform is going to be able to build itself up, unfortunately, because YouTube has become so big. It's the name you use when you're describing other video platforms. Yeah. You say YouTube. It's like, what are you on, Dailymotion? What are you on, YouTube? Nah, Dailymotion. Same thing.
So basically, Brandon, for you going forward, how is this going to affect you in the long run? In terms of
I mean, we'll see. It certainly is a bit of a kick in the teeth as far as, you know, the kind of content we produce. But I mean, to me, I'm more stubborn. Now we have a clear goal in mind of what we have to do. It's just getting the rest of my colleagues on board. I think some of my colleagues, when they hear this, are less enthused and probably are more inclined to abandon the internet. Making money off the internet in general. So, I mean, we'll see. It's definitely going to be an interesting couple weeks ahead for us while we decide.
It's Miguel and Brandon, Ronmar. So yeah,
what's up, Ron?
It's basically like a situation that happens, and I agree with you, Michael. The problem with YouTube right now is they don't follow their own guidelines. They follow the guidelines wherever suits them, basically, in a sense. You know?
Yeah, I don't think they even want guidelines. They just want to do whatever they want. It's like, you know, yeah, we have rules, but you know, we're also trying to make money, so you know.
Yeah, like with the Logan Paul situation, it's basically a complete. They went out of their way to make sure that this video was seen by everybody, and it was hot linked by all the sites. And yes, it was due to the algorithm. But it was a human being that every time someone basically clicked on the video and flagged it, they went, ignore, 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 ignore. And the reason why they did that was because it was making money and nobody basically quality checked it. They went, well, they didn't hold it to the same standard as they would, say, a video that me or Brandon would produce. Because if I produced a video, and this is the funny thing about it, like, I do random skits before I do my Rather British reviews. And basically what I usually do, a lot of them aren't really child friendly, but Nintendo literally copyright claims all of my videos on Nintendo games, like Mario Odyssey, the one I did in Legend of Zelda. They've copyright claimed those videos. I've let them have them because it's gotten to the point where there's no point contesting them, because as soon as it comes back it goes, well, they're going to hold that claim, and if you try and contest it, we're going to shut your channel down. This is from you.
Have you considered pulling a copyright deadlock?
What do you mean?
Oh, you're not familiar with the copyright deadlock. Okay. For those of you out there who make videos and Nintendo or any of these guys keeps claiming them, I don't know if you're familiar with who Jim Sterling is.
Yes.
Okay. He figured out this bug with the copyright system where if you have more than one company claiming your video at the same time, they can't take the money from that. It doesn't get monetized by anybody. They can't claim the money on it, but neither can you. So what he does is whenever he has a video on Nintendo, he'll purposely put a sound bite from a Warner Brothers song, Warner Music song, or he'll use a clip from a 2K game because they copyright a lot of his videos as well. or something from Sega or something like that, something that he knows will get picked up by Content ID. So what happens is both Nintendo and this other company get Content ID'd at the same time. Therefore, no company can claim ads to it. So he's able to keep. Yeah, he's able to keep his videos ad-free because if more than one company tries to copyright claim it, then nobody can claim it. Well, it means you can't claim it, but it allows him to keep his videos ad-free, which he says if you want to support him, go through his Patreon.
Well, that's the thing as well. When it comes to stuff like this, that bugs me. And again, it doesn't. The one thing that bugs me about it is like, if you're gonna take my video, fucking promote it. That's, do you know what I mean? Just promote my freaking video. Get it more views, Nintendo. Get a lot more eyes on my content, so at least you're gonna, you're earning money off of it. But they're just like, no, we're just gonna, you do what you gotta do. We're just gonna claim that. And what's Michael saying here? The only way YouTube allows us to become bigger is either monetization, a meme, basically meme your videos, or shouting us out. And I'm just starting.
Or there's also
Sterling is he's kind of a review / entertainment YouTuber. He's English based, but he lives in the United States now, I think.
Yeah.
So he's really he's one of those guys who started off with the Escapist lot. Remember when the Escapist was a thing, and then moved on from the Escapist to his own kind of YouTube channel.
For those of you who want a good representation. Yeah, and for those of you that want a good representation of who Jim Sterling is, he's the video game equivalent to Movie Bob.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Even he's been having trouble at the moment. Promote the game. I can understand copyright claiming a movie or TV footage or music, but video game footage I think is ridiculous because people want to play games. See, the thing is, it's a double-edged sword, really, right? If you promote a game or you're doing a review on a game and you reveal the spoilers of the game's ending, 9 times out of 10 people are not going to want to play the game because they've seen all the footage. So I don't like people who do Let's Plays and then do feature-length kind of animation movies of the entirety of a game's CGI sequence. Because
right, and that's actually a big problem with a lot of these story-based games, like games that aren't really gameplay-based, but they tell a story. A good example would probably be This Dragon Cancer, which is all story. It's all one big long graphic narrative.
Or even like
and I know. Well, Telltale games have some form of gameplay if we're talking about like the Walking Dead games, but something like walking simulators, basically. Like I said, going back to This Dragon Cancer, I know there was a big controversy because they were pulling videos offline of Let's Players because they would show the entire game, and so no one was picking up the game because they could just watch the videos online. So I do kind of see it in that regard.
It's like with Atlas, what they did with the Persona games, where if anybody tried to live stream any of the Persona games, you would literally have it taken offline because they didn't want to lose sales revenue because of the you'd be revealing a chunk of what the game has. Power Metal Gamer, as somebody who's a YouTube content creator, how is this affecting you? Because you showed me your email recently. I still haven't gotten the email, which is kind of weird. Maybe it's because I don't monetize. That's the reason that they haven't emailed me about this. Because it's affecting everybody right now, and a lot of people are really getting angry about this, and again I can understand this, so where does
it feels like a purge is what it really kind of feels like to me. Like we just all didn't expect this coming, and now we're all of a sudden our boat is underwater, and now we're slowly struggling to get above the water.
It's like they keep filling up the tank and we keep trying to swim to the top in order to try and get ourselves out of this situation, and it's annoying and it's daunting at the same time, because it's like, do you know, like, and again, to coin another wrestling phrase, because I know a lot of people here watch wrestling, the big issue with it is when you have like so many brass rings, right? And it actually is with any job. Do you know when they say to you, well, we'll give you promotion if you meet all these requirements and you do all these things, and then you go out your way and you motivate yourself to do everything that you're supposed to do to get this promotion, only to have some guy come in from outside to get the job, and then you're sitting there feeling demotivated as fuck, to the point where you're just like, why the hell am I even in this job? And it kind of does that in terms of the whole medium is, why should I even make content if you're going to keep doing this to me? It's literally just lubing you up and giving you a good fucking as soon as someone else fucks up. A few more comments. Ron Moa says, so where does the fair use lie? As long as you don't spoil too much of the game. Yeah, that's pretty much...
There is no... Well, that's the thing, is there's no definition of fair use. It's kind of just depends on who's looking at the video, because by the letter of the law, there is no such thing as fair use.
Yeah.
YouTube is a privately owned company. They can throw off Burhan's channel if they just don't like his beard.
Yeah.
You know, it's their own decision. So technically, there is no such thing as fair use. There's
Gamer
parody.
Says he's monetized a few months back, and he just wanted to do it to get his channel out there because apparently he was told to do this. Romo says YouTube's the McMahon of video sharing sites. He goes, I couldn't give a fuck about the money. I just wanted to get a bigger audience. Markel says, oh my god, he sounds like Seth Rogen. Brandon,
me?
No, apparently Brandon sounds like Seth Rogen.
Well, I mean, it's a little true. We are both portly guys that smoke a bunch of weed, so yeah. And we have beards.
Well, just remember though that you could look in amazing shape if you smoked a bong and went to the gym. Because
I don't though. I'd rather just do half of that. Like that, I do no problem. But just that other
we need
thing.
to invest in an ab machine for Brandon, one of those electronic ones.
That just like shocks my muscles and stuff like that. I'll do it while I'm podcasting.
If Brandon grows out the beard, he kind of looks like Action Bronson.
It grows out. I'm a little bit like that. I'm much skinnier.
Of course, Mikhail. You can do what you like. You react as well as you like, my friend. And Pal Metal Gamer says, never get high and lift weights. Ha ha ha. Well, there are actually some professional wrestlers who do get high before they lift weights. But that's a different story and an whole different subject. So, in terms of the hurdles... that's all right. In terms of the hurdles, Miguel, can you explain... Because you're more of a kind of a historian in terms of this, because we've had this conversation more than once. Well, RVD's getting kind of portly now, but, the guy's in his 40s. What do you expect? Miguel, you're kind of a historian on this fact, and every time YouTubers pulled something out of their arse, you've always kind of documented it, because we've had it from the first Adpocalypse. Even before then, they made it even more difficult for people to get promoted and have their channels out there. The worst part as well is Facebook has stopped getting, they will not give you your YouTube videos attention anymore. So when people share them in groups, or if they share them on their timelines, you rarely get any of your audience out there. And I've actually complained about this, where I share my videos on Facebook, on Twitter, in groups, everywhere. And most of my viewership actually comes from outside of YouTube, because YouTube does not share my content. A lot of it was because they focus on the bigger channels. So say if I'm doing a video on Mario Odyssey, there's probably about 20 different channels that have done a video, and they go by viewership. If the guy's got 100,000 views, they'll focus on his video before they get to mine. And then it goes, and then it kind of snowballs down until eventually mine comes up. The other bit is because they're not earning money off of my content, they won't promote it. I've even had the problem, there was one way I had around it, was I started promoting my videos by paid promotions. So I would pay YouTube via
AdSense?
Not AdSense, it's the other one. It's another ad platform, but it's like AdSense, where they basically it comes under the same wheelhouse. You pay them, they'll put your video in an ad, and they'll promote your video out to everybody else as an advert. And it got more people focusing on my channel, and a lot more people were subscribing, and then it hit a wall because they stopped doing that now. Because now they filter through what ads actually go through. I tried to do an ad for my Mario Odyssey review. They stopped it in its tracks. They wouldn't allow me to promote the video. And I was paying them. So it's like...
Did they at least give you your money back?
No, they didn't take any money at all.
Ah, okay.
So they didn't take any money off me, and I didn't make any subscriber base. But this is what people are resorting to now. I've seen content creators who are terrible getting a huge subscriber fan base because they do stupid things like prank channels, or they do things where they do fight videos. Again, like Keemstar has gotten big over this, doing Drama Alert and all that crap. They're still making money despite YouTube saying this is who we're attacking. They're like, these are the guys we're trying to stop. We're trying to stop the new Logan Pauls. This doesn't stop people. This incentivized them to
Right.
keep going. When they basically
Right.
said, well, you've got to do a video a day, this is easy. I could go out in the street and kick someone and I get 100,000 views on a video.
Right, but you don't. Again, like I said, you're assuming that when they say that they're doing this because of the Logan Paul situation, that they're truthful. They're not. This was just a situation where they found their scapegoat and they're doing this. They have been wanting to control the content on their platform for a long time. It's just now you have a more brazen team running YouTube that's now deciding to do this. It's the same. It's just like when the situation with the racist ad stuff that for the first adpocalypse that happened. You know, all of a sudden you had wrestling channels that were being demonetized. It pretty much almost killed WCPW. When stuff like the Las Vegas shooting happened, you started to see channels from like conservative from conservative news outlets, legitimate news outlets, start to become demonetized. A lot of the skeptic community was being demonetized. Then when the whole ElsaGate situation came out, when they started to find a lot of these Indian cartoon channels that were not only they were not only abusing copyright, but they started to find like people in the chat rooms that may have been linked to pedophilia. They were they started to demonetize a bunch of other people. I made the point a while ago after the last adpocalypse came out. I talked about reckless eating. These guys, their whole channel is basically nothing but them eating weird shit and either making fun of it or puking. But they've been around for years, and they had like 5,000 videos, and they were all just demonetized.
Yeah.
Just one day, the guy, Matt Zion wakes up, and all of his videos are just demonetized, and he's been fighting them still.
Technically, that's actually a fallacy on that one. The reason why he states that he was moving from his partner platform to YouTube, because he was like,
that's another one, yeah.
Why they're making money off of my content, so let's move over to here. And the problem is, depending on how big your channel is, they will you'll hit to the back of the queue. So basically, it was anywhere between 24 hours to 4 to 6 months before anything got monetized, and I believe still right now, no monetization at all.
Yeah, it's like it's like being in the mob. You never really leave the family. And this is the future. I think what we're going to see is you're going to see YouTube they're going to cut out the bottom as much as possible to where it doesn't affect them. Because I was going to say before, there's actually a fourth avenue of making money is if you put kids in your videos. Because there's a huge market for videos with children in that, because they have that YouTube Kids app, which gets a ton of views. I'll give you a good example. I have a 3-year-old niece, and every time I visit the house, to see my brother, she's always watching the same channel, and it's literally just 2 little girls, like 6-year-olds, either like talking about toys and playing with them or doing little like fun little skits and whatnot. And she watches this like religiously. She's 3, obviously. Yeah. But there's that whole angle of kids basically binge watching all these videos. I have a 6-year-old cousin who a 6-year-old nephew who all he watches is just FNAF videos. He loves Five Nights at Freddy's, so he'll watch those. They're going to cut as much of the bottom as they can that they can afford to without cutting out the channels that begrudgingly make them money. And what you're going to get is you're going to get the low key channels that are making tons of money for them, or the upper echelon, the Markipliers, the celebrities like The Rock has a channel now for whatever fucking reason. It's going to start seeing that, and the middle, like people like yourself, conservative channels like the Daily Wire, for instance, which I'm a huge fan of, a lot of the skeptic community like Sargon of Akkad, these guys are going to get phased out because they are not a part of YouTube's future. Well, they are not the future that YouTube wants.
In his defense, he's relying mostly on Patreon. So
yeah,
really, I know Anita Sarkeesian attempted to attack his Patreon, but then that was, he managed to survive that. More comments.
Well, Patreon's starting to do that right now with their whole monetary changes. Yeah. You remember that whole situation, right?
They fucked themselves hard with that. That was ridiculous. They destroyed any, like, it literally got to the point where people venomously removed themselves from the platform because guys like, I think Larry Bundy got affected a lot by it, where he was losing a lot of his Patreon backers because they tried this new way of monetizing where they got people to You had to pay like 10%, I think it was, off the gate.
Basically from what I've read is that the way it works is whenever you take a donation through Patreon, the creator themselves has to pay a tax on it.
Yeah.
It's taken out of the creator themselves. Where they were going to do an update right now where part of that tax was going to start coming out of the donation itself. So they were kind of taking it off the strain off of the creator. But people started to lash out against it because now all of a sudden it wasn't just about donating a dollar. A dollar now became $1.10 or $1.20, which I think it's kind of lame to argue about. I mean, if you're so tight for cash you can't add an extra $10 to a donation, don't donate. Like to me, I'm completely in Patreon's favor in this regard. I think, if they want to take some of the burden off of the creators by having the tax come out of the donation as opposed to the creator themselves. I mean, like I said, on the lower end, I don't think it's that big of an issue. The reason why I really was big on this update was because of the fact that they were killing money laundering was a big problem, where you were starting to see a lot of content creators, what they would do is they would donate to other people. They would use the money that was being donated to them. They would take that money and funnel it to other people's Patreons, and then those people would funnel that money back to them. So let's say, for instance, you and I have a Patreon. Under the new before the update, I could donate $10 to you, and then you could donate the same $10 back to me. We can fund each other's Patreons. So what that people were doing is they were using that as money laundering. So the update was going to cut that off, and I know that's what got a lot of people upset. A lot of the big content creators were like, "But I donate to like 10 other Patreon accounts. What am I going to do now?" It's like, I don't know what to tell you. People were abusing that, and so I completely get in that regard. But the lower end stuff, yeah.
Quickly on comments before we continue. A lot of YouTubers pay for subs, and YouTube doesn't care why though. They do, but again, when it comes to paying for subs, you get put on Google's blacklist, which means your channel will never be found. I has Cupcake. She plays Mario Odyssey. I like Sam Pepper. Romo says, funny how some of the worst videos out there are the most viewed. But as Eric Bischoff has said, controversy creates cash. And this is where the problem is. The whole controversy behind it is basically what's causing people to do more of them.
Right. But at the same time, though, here's the thing. And I've said this before off chat. There's only so far you can get with that jackass culture. Like that, those meme videos, you'll get one video that gets like 2 million views, and then what? It's like you have one video that gets 2 million views, and then all of your other videos get 100,000 views at best. I mean, can you survive a channel just on one singular video? I don't care how popular that one video is. There's not much of a future in that.
Travis is on. So hi, Travis. I was really close to just giving up on YouTube because I felt nobody was watching, and thankfully my wife has motivated me to keep trucking along. This is the thing. I think that the issue where we were having is the fact that where people weren't watching the smaller channels' content anymore, unless you do a video that goes viral. Like, this is the thing that really bugged me. Do you remember the situation with Daddy of 5?
I try to forget it.
Yeah. He's still going on YouTube and he's still monetizing. Travis does have a wife, Brandon, yes. he married recently.
Congratulations.
I know, he didn't learn his lesson the first time.
I know. I'm a divorcee myself, and it's going to be a while. Anyway.
Yeah.
Gamer Travis has a sub to me, I'll sub to you. I hear you, man. My channels don't get as many views either, but the past 10 years have had a lot of fun. And this is kind of where the thing comes from. It's like you want to have fun with what you do. And the problem with the current trend is they're saying they're awarding people who are shifty, like as I said, the Daddy of 5 situation. They still have a gaming channel on YouTube. They still get monetization. They still continue to do what they're doing. They've stopped doing the prank stuff on the kid, and I didn't even call it pranks. I'd just call a spade a spade. They stopped abusing their kids for views, but they still have a loyal fan base who, advocates them, and it kind of really shows how toxic the platform has become. Because what they're saying is, if you do these shitty videos and prank channels and you go to Japan and film dead bodies, this is what's going to basically get you views and monetization. But if you're trying to actually make creative content, then we're not going to support you. And by doing this move, that's kind of how I feel about the situation. I feel it's unjust, in a way.
Well, the problem with that is then it becomes a case of removing people from the platform based on content.
Yeah.
And that's a very slippery slope to go, because then who gets to decide what content does and doesn't get profiled? Because then it becomes a matter of, well, I believe that, for instance, the Daily Wire is, content that shouldn't be seen, but the Young Turks should. And it becomes a situation where then who decides what gets viewed and what doesn't. And that's why I don't believe
comic book channels at the moment as well, though. Like, comic book channels are being hit really badly by this. Rob's from Comics Explained actually did a video talking about how they've just demonetized a lion's share of his videos, and how basically the first 24 hours, and this is what most of these guys say, the first 24 hours are the most crucial when making content. Because once your content uploads, the first 24 hours of views is where you get the lion's share of monetization, and then everything else is just back end.
Yeah.
And they basically demonetize these videos at that point, to the point where he's getting a lion's share of views. Once they monetize the video again, those views are lost. He's not making money off the first 100,000.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Is basically they cut you off, and then they pretend like, oh, well, we're sorry, flip the switch, and by that point, it's pretty much gone. And the fact that they can do this even before you upload. Yeah. I'll give you a good example. I don't know if you're familiar with who Blair White is.
No.
Okay, Blair White is she's a female transgender YouTuber. And she I like her channel. Her content's pretty good. It's very it's not annoying about the fact that it's about the transgender community. But she did an interview with the Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro, and she said as soon as before even the video was uploaded, she already got the notification that her video had been demonetized. And it was nothing bad. It was just her being interviewed by this conservative news outlet. There was nothing inflammatory about it. It's just the fact that it was associated with the Daily Wire, immediately it got demonetized. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is when you start going based on the content within the video, either we're all drinking from the same water fountain or we're not, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And that's why I always feel weird when people talk about how we should get rid of channels like Daddy05 and Logan Paul. It's like, look, if the videos they put out, as long as they're not breaking any sort of laws, I think you can demonetize them.
Well, not break laws. Like, the guy was abusing his kids on freaking...
Was he arrested for it, though?
No, they were taken away from him, and he was basically put with a restraining order not to go near those children.
But it's still not arrested. It's bad publicity, don't get me wrong, but he didn't break any. He wasn't breaking any specific laws that he wasn't doing anything criminal in that regard. Nothing that can be put to paper. But my point is that once you start getting into that argument where you start getting rid of channels just on content alone, then where does the line happen? Where does the line go? I don't trust YouTube, especially given the fact that they're under the Google banner, especially given the controversies coming out with the whole James Damore situation. I don't know if you've been following that.
Yeah, they can't self-regulate at all. That's the biggest problem when it comes to YouTube as a whole. They can't self-regulate. They've proven that by again, this is a fucking minefield right now in terms of what's going on, and they've killed nearly any... What's going to happen right now is that a lion's share of smaller creators are leaving the platform. They're going to just stop.
Right.
I'm powering through. Because I don't make money off monetization anyway. I'm just going to keep making content to see what happens and see if people view it. And great. And I'm also going to look at other platforms in terms of like Facebook Watch, again, because Facebook is the lion's share of where I get my viewership from anyway. I might as well switch onto their platform so that I could become more Facebook friendly in a sense. But again, it's depending if I actually get on that platform or not, because they have more preference to bigger companies than they will with smaller content creators.
Right.
The issue that's going on at the moment with this purge is it is affecting bigger creators. Like Comics Explained is a 1 million sub channel, and the lion's share of the monetization that's happening on his videos, they're not even caring right now, and it's very scary to the fact that they're not caring because they've.
I think it shows the hubris in YouTube where they can look at a 1 million subscriber channel and not give a shit. Because I guarantee you, if this was happening to like a Markiplier who has almost like 20 million subscribers, then they'd notice, and then they would you know, yeah, they would fix it. It really shows that kind of hubris where they look at it and be like, 1 million, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And that's kind of where the problem lies. And I think in terms of the system itself, it's broken. And what this has done is made it even more broken. Talking about something that's broken, because we were going to touch on this before we finish the stream tonight. Miguel brought up a story, and this one's been rolling around on Facebook and other sites. And the New York
Wait a minute, can I say one quick thing about the YouTube situation?
Go for it.
I think to me, the whole using YouTube as your only source of income, I've known that that's been a bad idea since the Channel Awesome situation. When Channel Awesome left,
2012, man.
Well, what I was going to say is when Channel Awesome came over to YouTube, they were the biggest stars on Blip. They were making huge buck, being the top stars on that platform. And as soon as they came over, a lot of them just fell off a cliff, mainly because they tried to use YouTube as their only source of income, and they realized that they were big. You know, they were little fish in a big pond now.
Or you can go the skinny route of getting Patreon money for not making any content at all.
That's beside the point. The point I'm trying to make is, I think what you might start seeing is a lot of these creators use YouTube as only a demo source, where they start putting up only clips of their content, and the real meat and potatoes is either going to be only Patreon or their own websites. They're going to start using their own video platform and just using the Google AdSense or however YouTube, however Google does for ads on websites. They're just going to start building their own brands on there. And I think with the way Patreon works, as long as Patreon doesn't go the YouTube route and start purging the bottom, like YouTube is doing, I can see that being the future, and people just building their own brands as opposed to using YouTube. I don't know if that's going to kill off YouTube in the long run. I think YouTube believes in their heart that they're going to be the next Netflix, so you're going to start seeing them try to get a lot more of these celebrities involved.
Could that be with Netflix, with Amazon Prime, YouTube is not going to be the next. I could see YouTube falling off a freaking cliff if they don't actually start helping their creators out. That's the truth.
You know what YouTube has? You know what YouTube is looking like it's going to be? It's going to be the next Sirius XM.
Or the next MySpace.
Well, I mean, I say Sirius XM because people thought Sirius XM was going to be this bastion of independent content, and you were going to be able to hear music you'd never heard, and people were starting to gravitate as far as radio stations. They signed Howard Stern and Opie and Anthony, and now it's become a situation where it plays the same music. It has the same people. They started signing celebrities to have their own channels. It basically became like a high-end version of like Podbean, where it's like, it's basically if a celebrity wants to play DJ, they can sign a deal with Sirius XM and get their own channel. It became a joke, and it is a joke still. YouTube is running the risk of becoming that, and more power. Whatever happens. But quote me right now as far as what may end up happening.
Well, just to say, for the content creator, the butt fucking isn't going to stop. And this is becoming, like, as I said, 2018 is becoming the year of stupid, because I think this is a stupid decision. And if anyone from YouTube watches this video, you are completely stupid.
You're big stupid duty heads.
Yeah, exactly. You're big stupid duty heads, as Brandon would say. Going from one stupid decision to another, I want to talk about this quickly, and it's just a little bit about the Me Too movement. And this is kind of got a double-edged sword to it, because this is going to make dating very more difficult for guys in general, especially if you're a celebrity.
I'll just say your piece. I have because I'll just say 2 words: the love contract.
Yeah, but this is going to make this more prominent because of the way that things are going at the moment. And this is what's happening. A lady, let's call her Grace, submitted basically a blog post to this feminist site talking about the fact where she believed whether or not she was raped by Aziz Ansari. Now, the controversy is going out as a lot of people who are internet kind of feminists, as I would call them, posted this and was like, he needs his show Master of None cancelled, he's a piece of shit, he's a rapist, he used his position, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you read the blog post, and you also read the retrospective written by the New York Times, and you have basically common sense, this actually not only hurts the Me Too movement, but it makes people like, if you're in any position of celebrity, it makes you think twice and take a double take whether or not you're going to even ask someone out on a date, because you're afraid that that person's going to basically try and say that you're a rapist. Now, I'm going to abridge the little situation and speak about it a little bit as to what happened. They switched numbers, this lady Grace and Aziz Ansari, when they were at a mutual party. He wasn't really interested in her, but they had a mutual kind of connection, so they went out on this date. For number one, they went on this date, they had a great time. He went to pay for the meal because he wanted to quickly get her back to his place. This is the first instance where she could have said no if she was awkward and unhappy about the situation. So they went. Apparently, Travis is apologizing for any bad thing he said to you, Miguel. I don't know if he ever said anything bad to you, but there you go.
I'll say I've trolled him a little bit with my, conservative views, and I'll admit to being a bit of a troll, so I'll apologize for that as well, Travis. I don't hold it against you if you won't hold it against me.
Back at the Aziz Ansari situation, so he basically went on this date.
I make no such apologies.
He went on this date. He went basically with this woman. He paid for the date. She could have just said no before going back to his place. So she willfully went back to his place. They had a conversation. They started kissing. They made out, and they were about to hook up. She undressed herself, right? When he wanted her to undress herself, he undressed himself. Then eventually, as things took a turn for him wanting to... He had a kink where he wanted to basically see himself doing her in front of a mirror. She didn't like that. She said no. He suggested let's put our clothes back on because she felt really insecure, and they just sat down on the couch and cuddled.
Yo, I did not know I was signing up for Red Shoe Diaries with Michael Burhan.
Supposedly the story that I had heard was that let's to try to keep it as clean as possible. He and her were batting a triple, basically. And she said stop, she wasn't feeling comfortable, so they stopped. Yeah. And I guess they started fooling around again, and he was rounding the bases. And, just as he was about to slide into home, she says, yeah, I don't feel comfortable with this. I'm going to leave. And I think even in the article, it even says that she was like, you men are all the same.
Yes. And so he as in, again, if he didn't like her, he wouldn't have texted her. Especially because it was a hookup and he didn't get what he wanted out of the situation. Again, I'm not glorifying that in any way, shape, or form before anyone starts attacking me. So he basically texted her the next day asking her how she was and said he had a nice night. She then got upset and said, you should not... I gave you so many non-verbal cues, you should have picked them up. And, basically chastised him for the date. Now... He's guilty.
Oh, I've got the actual text right here because I pulled up a New York Times article, former newspaper.
The
text reads, quote, "Last night may have been fun for you, but it wasn't for me. You ignored clear nonverbal cues. You kept going with advances. You had to have noticed I was uncomfortable."
Yeah. Now, as someone who gets harassed by the gay community, by I'm not going to say the entire gay community because that's a lie, by a lot of men in the gay community who are very forceful in terms of, hey, down Phoenix, in terms of the way that they represent themselves. If you give someone a clear no and then they keep going, that's rape. For those who don't know, right? If you basically try to give someone a non-verbal cue, people are dumb. No one's going to, unless they're trained to pick up on this shit, no one's going to read your mind. I can't, if Miguel sits there and looks at me and goes, I'm angry with you, and I have no fucking clue what I did to piss Miguel off, then there's no way, why not make it verbal? Jeez, exactly.
Yeah, right. It's like, we're not fucking umpires. We don't know, like, hand signals or codes. I can't sit there and go, well, she either wants me to eat her ass or bunt. I don't know.
Pretty much that, and Brad, and I'm not laughing at the situation itself, but I'm laughing at what it represents because it's scary. and it's a very scary situation, because what's going to happen now is people are going to say that, well, you know, and this is the thing that really bugged me about the situation. Miguel hits home at this, where he said that she basically stated that she had to take a double take and sit down whether or not it was just a bad date or she was raped. How can you...
Yeah.
If you're going to think about it, then you know that's, you know, it's basically the former and not the latter. Do you know what I mean? And it bugs me when you've got people like this throwing shade at someone and basically giving them so much venom and irating a certain audience of people because you want it to be something. And that's what it is. She wanted attention and she wanted it to be something.
Well, that's the environment that we've engendered now. We've allowed hindsight rape to occur, basically, where you can basically take away consent after the fact. Yeah. Consent is supposed to be something you give beforehand. We have a generation now that has allowed the idea that you can remove consent after the fact. After it's happened and everybody agreed on it, you can literally go back and say, "No, I'm going to take it back. You actually did force yourself onto me." What?
Yeah, and this is what Brandon was talking about. Brandon, say to us again what you're saying about the contract idea.
It's like the Chappelle Show sketch, man. It's the love contract bit come to real life. Like, you have to literally have a notary present before engaging in any sexual content.
Yeah,
and just sign here if you decline anal. Oh, that's not.
Oh, you want an actual example of that? To kind of go back to what I was saying with the Daily Wire, they actually brought this up. Are you familiar with the app Legal Fling?
Yeah,
I've saw this article. Yes,
it's literally that. It's literally the love contract app where you agree. You pull up the app. You agree to certain stipulations before, you know, whatever happens, and then apparently the idea is you can basically catalog, you know, if consent was given, when it was taken away, which is bullshit, because if you're gonna use this as the point of consent, I'll just throw the phone against the wall and, you know, have my way.
And also it means that you've got to have to record conversations while on dates now as well, to make sure that you've done nothing wrong. And it's kind of made dating more erroneous and more tense than before, because imagine if you have a bad date and then someone, because I've had a bad date before. I've had a situation where I went on a date and the female I was dating got another guy's number on the damn date and then decided to rip me a new one in front of people. It's not pleasant, but I'm not going to sit there and go, well, you forced yourself on me and your opinions and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no. This is not the way it should be working. Do you know what I mean?
You know, here's the thing. We used to have legal contracts like that. We used to have protections in regards to that. It was called marriage. And it's kind of, and look, I'm not a Puritan at all. I'm more of an agnostic, more of a deist. I don't know if I consider myself an atheist, but I think it was Andrew Clavin at the Daily Wire who made the good point. Is we used to have the whole idea of marriage and keeping sex out until then, because it was a form of protection like this. And then within the 20th century, certain groups have stripped that away, and now what they're finding out is when you strip away those protections, now you leave yourself open to abuses like this. And so they're trying to figure out ways to protect against that without admitting that they fucked up and going back to the old style. So it's like, we had the protections, then they stripped them away. Now those same people want those protections back, but they don't want to admit that they were wrong in taking the protections away. So they're doing this whole backwards loop-de-loop, 4D Hungry Hippos, think. And they're trying to cover up for this. Look, like I said, I'm not a Puritan, but you do see what happens when you strip away a lot of those values. It becomes a real dangerous situation.
Well, in terms of the Me Too movement as well, it's become a very dangerous situation, because what it does is it takes away the context from that movement in general. It makes it so that anyone can come out and make an allegation, and then that allegation is going to stick. Look what's going on with Stan Lee right now, where apparently he was blackmailed by his care workers to pay out a sum of money, or they were going to basically go to the press and say that he raped them. And this is what's happened, and he's got loads of allegations coming out of sexual misconduct. And even he's sitting there and he's constantly saying, I deny these things, I deny these allegations. His own legal team are saying he denies these allegations. But it's destroying his, basically, his public relations in a sense, you know? My friend is pregnant at 15 and lives with her boyfriend. Well, there you go, Mikkel. So when
I'm sure her parents are proud.
But the whole situation when it comes to this stupid kind of situation that's happened is it takes away what the Me Too movement stands for, which is taking away the corruption from the people who are powerful and using their powerful kind of positions to hurt other people. And it happens. Like the Weinstein situation, loads of more stuff's coming out where he's stopped like creators and filmmakers from working with actors that he wouldn't allow them to work with because they wouldn't sleep with him.
He destroyed Mira Sorvino's career because of that.
And it's not fair, and this is what you should be standing up against, and this is what you should be basically in the workplace. It's still happening, and everyone's like, well, you know, we've got rid of the cesspool, it's done, we're over with it now. And it's like, no, it's not done.
Well, here's the thing now, and I was going to make a joke about this to kind of round it out, but because if I start talking about this, I'm going to spend another hour, but you have Hollywood now basically taking the Me Too movement so they can keep control over it with the whole "it's time" thing, and that whole movement is just gross in its own right. I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing when it comes to the situation itself. You can't sit there and say this is the kind of movement that we want, and then use it to basically attack someone. And again, Aziz Ansari is only guilty of two things: one, for having a very weird kink that he basically wanted justified that she didn't like, and two, basically being a very, very bad date.
Well, hold on a second. I gotta vent out one quick thing, and I'm actually gonna quote Dave Chappelle on this because I don't know if you've seen his new comedy special. It's really good.
Yeah.
Well, he makes a point when he talks about Louis C.K. because he actually defends Louis C.K. and he brings up a good point: is why is it okay to why is it once somebody gets power they lose the permission to express their kink? And people talk about consent, but it's gone beyond that. And he brings up Louis C.K. and he's like,
in front of someone though, dude, that didn't give you
no. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. He did get permission. That's the thing is, people think that he was basically Louis C.K. is an exhibitionist, but he's a submissive exhibitionist. If you don't know what the mindset is, a submissive exhibitionist will not expose himself unless given permission because it goes against the kink. A dominant exhibitionist will do. They don't give a shit. They get off on the reaction from the people. A submissive gets off on the permission to it. So all the situations that he's talked about when he's exposed himself, he's gotten the permission to do it. These women say, okay, I'm weirded out, but sure, go ahead. You know, there was the whole situation of the woman who, you know, he asked her about it over the phone and he did it. And she said, you know, I had to get out of the comedy business. And he's like, how weak-willed are you that you let a guy jacking off, you know, hundreds of miles away from you on the phone keep you from your dream? And it's a good point. It's like, when did we get to the point to where once a person gets a certain amount of power, they no longer are allowed to express their kink? As long as no one's getting hurt and as long as there is consent there, it shouldn't be a problem. But because of the fact that we've devalued consent, it's hard to basically judge this with any sort of clear lens, unfortunately. And you do run into situations like that with Louis C.K. I don't think the guy did anything overtly wrong. I think we should laugh at him, obviously, because it's funny. But I don't think he should be shamed or even punished for it. I think he should lay low, but that's just me, you know.
Well, Brandon, you were going to say something?
No, just that it was. It's really funny. I completely agree with everything Dave Chappelle said. In that it's very funny that that's his kink is jerking off in front of people.
Yeah, I remember he mocked it a lot. But that's the thing, and that's what I'm saying with the Aziz Ansari situation. He didn't do anything wrong. In contextualize.
That's what I was doing. I was picturing the Aziz thing as his character from Master of None, trying to just that. Because I'm assuming Aziz Ansari is significantly more smoother than his character kind of plays off to be, which is,
Doesn't sound like
sort of based on himself.
But that's the thing. I think when it comes to that sort of situation, technically he did nothing wrong. And this is the thing. When it comes to using your position of power and consensualizing whether or not you want to basically have sex with someone, there's got to be a clear-cut line here. Because I've seen people who've made posts of he raped me with his eyes, or he raped me with his words, and it's just like, look, you've got to look at it this way. It has to be clear-cut. Cut the semantics out. Don't overcomplicate something. Make it clear. And this is what I'm going to say to anybody. If you ever go on a date with something and you feel that you're being pressured to have sex with someone, say no. 2 letters.
Yes.
Right? That's it. Because as soon as you say that, if they continue, it's rape. Clear as day.
Yes. Exactly. You have a sense of urgency. You have a sense of self-preservation. Use it. Yeah. Don't believe these bitches. Don't believe the Anita Sarkeesians of the world that tell you that you have no urgency because vagina. Be a bad bitch and stand up for yourself. Don't let these women hold you down, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and also the fact when she says women have no rights. Excuse me, you have the right to vote, you have credit cards, you have houses, you've got mortgages. You have the same rights as everybody else. There's still issues with stuff like pay gaps, and there's still issues with the way that you're perceived under certain individuals, but you need to stand up for yourselves. That's what the whole movement is about. It's not about accusing someone of something because you had a bad date. And whoever this Grace is, I feel like she's a coward anyway because she wouldn't give her real name. She just put in a pseudonym in order to kind of give herself the freedom to express how she felt. And I'm someone who is, I wouldn't consider myself a feminist, but I consider myself a champion for female and gay rights, for everybody's rights, because I believe everybody is equal and everyone should have the right to be equal. That's including fathers' rights over their children. I believe everybody should have the right to be equal. The big issue I'm having at the moment is when someone uses a movement such as the Me Too movement as a way to get on their soapbox and say, I'm popular like everybody else. You see, I'm the same as everyone else because I was raped technically, if it was a bad date, but I consider it rape because I had to think about it for 10 minutes. It really hurts the movement. It hurts the people. And it's one of the reasons I didn't share the story when someone else actually gave me the link for the New York Times article, because in terms of what it is, it's a non-issue. It's a non-story, and I really hope Netflix doesn't do something drastic and cut Aziz Ansari off because of it. Because I feel people need to just stop. Stop fucking demonizing people. It's extremely bad because you're not only costing someone their career, you're costing someone their livelihood, you're costing someone basically their own mental state, because you could end up bullying someone. And this has happened, and Miguel and I spoke about this previously, when a porn star, just because she basically vocalized the fact that she didn't want to have sex with guys who do gay porn, got chastised, berated and bullied until she committed suicide. It's like, fuck the internet. Come on, man. We're better than this. We are better than this.
I thought we were supposed to love our porn stars.
Yeah, we're supposed to, and it's an opinion.
Well, no, she was guilty of wrongthink, Brandon. That's the thing. Is once you get accused of wrongthink, then you have to be, you do not know the way, for lack of better terms.
Newspeak.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, and you've got to look at it from the fact that you've got... this is the funny thing. These same people will probably advocate for Logan Paul, but they'll sit there and chastise this woman right now. And this is the thing. Pick your battles. Like, if a porn star says she doesn't want to have sex with gay porn stars, that's okay. She has an opinion. She has an idea of what she wants, and that she doesn't want to do that. Don't chastise her, because in the end, you're taking away her power to choose and to vocalize that choice. Don't hinder people from expressing their opinions.
Right, but that's not the environment we live in. It's like, you're free to do whatever you want as long as it fits within my world viewpoint. You know, it's you know, you can have your you can basically have control of your body, but as soon as your body does something I don't like, then it's no longer yours.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing you can do. Don't chastise people, man, and look at the right way of doing things and the right way to vocalize your opinions. And if someone says something, if you don't like it, here's an idea. Don't follow them. Just say, I don't agree with your opinion, and walk on. Don't basically bully them, because you become part of the problem. You victimize someone until they take their own life. That's not a good thing, and it's not cool. But anyway.
Well, like...
Go on, Miguel.
No, I was going to make the joke. It's like, but Verhan, somebody else might follow them. And I have to destroy that then. We can't have other people following them because I disagree with them.
Well, again, it's agree to disagree, isn't it? That's just the way it is.
I know, I'm being facetious, folks. Yeah. I can't tell if
guess
you're serious or not.
I don't like Logan Paul, and guess what I did? I unfollowed him on... I don't even follow him on Twitter. I blocked him on Twitter. I basically blocked his Facebook channels. I blocked him on Instagram. Anyone who uses the term Logan, I tell them to move on. That's it. I'm not going to go after...
Even if you're talking about Wolverine.
Yeah, I'm not going to go after his mum and dad and start freaking calling them pieces of shit. This is where a line needs to be drawn, folks. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments below exactly what you think of the YouTube monetization thing or the Aziz Ansari story. Let us know if you want us to continue doing more of these kind of streams, or you want me to basically have my beautiful face in front of the camera. As affirmed, I'm not going anywhere, so don't worry about if you think that I'm not going to be producing content. I'm still going to be using this channel to produce content, to create ideas, and also comedy sketches when I'm not acting and doing my stuff, because I'm a freelance actor. This is what I do for a living. YouTube is kind of, for me, another avenue where I express my creativity. And if you've been affected as well, make sure you vocalize yourselves. Go to Twitter, YouTube, Creator. Let them know exactly how you feel. Make sure that the bigger channels get up there and basically express themselves as well. And hopefully something will get done. I doubt it. I think this is going to be like another one of their policies where it will just stick. And we've either got to like it or lump it. It's sad, yes. But it is what it is. And that's pretty much it from me. From Miguel Leon, from Brandon Ligon, of course. This has been Michael Burham. For another Nerd Genius podcast, letting you know that we've got gameplay. Have you? See you soon, guys.
R.I.P. Spike TV.
Meow.